This is a short video to explain the use of the present tense in German, das Präsens. Now, there's only one present tense in German, mostly, unlike English, which has two, the simple present and the present continuous. The present tense is used when you refer to an action or a description that happens in the present, as the name says. The present tense has regular endings, which you can see in red here in the table, and we use the verb singen for this example. Ich singe, du singst, sie, es singt, wir singen, ihr singt, sie singen. The second sie is the formal form. When you address someone, instead of saying du, you say sie with a capital letter. That's easy. All you need to do is take the verb, remove the en at the end of the verb, and add the ending that we have just seen. That's how you conjugate verbs in the past, in the present tense in German. And if the subject is a person, an animal, or a thing, the verb is conjugated exactly as you would conjugate it for sie, and es. Look at these examples. Ich trinke Wasser. Peter, here we have a person, hört Musik. You could say hört Musik. Like in the next example, spielt Musik, spielt Fußball, or Peter spielt Fußball. Or it could be Maria spielt Fußball. Or it could be der Hund spielt Fußball, and so on. Maybe you want to pause the video on this slide just to let this idea of verb conjugation sink in for a moment. Now let's move on with variations. So the present tense is easy to use in German, but there are very small exceptions, and here is one where you add a e when the verb stem ends with d, t, m, or n, so as in arbeiten, finden, segnen, atmen, warten. You see, the letters in green indicate that we have to add an e at the end of the stem, before st and before the t, as in du arbeitest, arbeitet. It would be very hard to say du arbeitst and arbeit with two t's, and to make sure that the person who listens understands that we are using the second and the third form. Now, there are also verbs that end with s, double s, and sz, as well as z, and those verbs, whenever we use the second form, the do form, we'll only add a t. We'll only add a t at the end of the stem of the verb, as in heißen, du heißt, sitzen, du sitzt, hassen, du hast. Now we're coming to the irregular verb, and the tip here is that you only need to remember the first three because the others are regular, except for sein. Sein, to be. Ich bin, du bist, ist, wir sind, ihr seid, sie sind. For this one, we have to remember all six forms. But for haben, werfen, waschen, and so on, haben, ich habe, du hast, hat, irregular, but wir will be regular. Wir haben, ihr habt, sie haben. And the same applies to the other irregular verbs. You need to remember the first three forms because they are irregular, but not the wir, the ihr, and the sie form. And here's another slide with irregular verbs. You can pause the video if you want to write them down. Some verbs are very, very important. The modal auxiliary verbs. These are super important because you use them a lot. They are dürfen, können, mögen, müssen, sollen, and wollen. And the same as the others, only the first three forms are irregular. The others, the wir, the ihr, and the sie form plural, they are regular. So try to remember them, write them down. And now, if you understood this lesson, you can do the exercises or rewind the video to make sure that you do understand and maybe make notes about the present tense.